Yes.
All right. All right. Thank you all for being here. Good morning. I am Lieutenant Governor-elect Mandela Barnes, here with Governor-elect Tony Evers, here to announce our exciting new cabinet secretaries. Again, as we've traveled the state, as we receive input from so many people, and also as we work to fulfill our own promises of bringing diversity, of bringing talent to this administration, I could not be more excited to announce this remaining group of cabinet secretaries that represent the diversity of our state, regional, gender, all sorts of demographics. I believe that Tony has done his Governor-elect Evers has done his due diligence in making sure that we pick the best talent, making sure that we actually pick the best people. That's what you see in front of you. That's what you've seen in the previous announcements. And I couldn't be more excited to go into January 7th, knowing that we have an administration that will reflect our commitment to this state, one that wants to make sure that we are moving in the right direction, an administration that will make sure that we...
Groups of folks that are going to be leading our important state agencies going forward. And also to make sure that we understand how important these selections are. We try our best to make sure that we have nothing but the top talent, and I think we've accomplished that. Additionally, every time we've been interviewing people for these positions, we've asked some very simple and direct forward questions. But one of the things that is very important to me as the next governor is that even though our state is organized in silos, or as we affectionately call them around here, as cylinders of excellence, that's a joke, come on. The fact of the matter is the leaders that we select have to be able to intuitively connect the dots in the work. No matter what the issues are that we're trying to resolve as a state and do the work that people elected us to do, is that we want to make sure that our leaders of the agencies connect the dots, and working with other agency leaders. All of them together, I believe, are going to be so important to collectively solve the problems that are facing us. So, to summarize, we have to make sure that these leaders and make sure that state agencies collaborate with our legislators on the best practices supporting the success of Wisconsin kids and families, to ensure that our tax policies are fair to middle-class Wisconsin, promote economic development policies that value the skills that all Wisconsinites bring to this state, and attract and retain employees so Wisconsin businesses can grow and prosper, and make sure that Wisconsin residents have access to affordable health care while protecting the coverage for those with pre-existing conditions. Lieutenant Governor Barnes and I are honored to have these folks join our administration, and we look forward to working with each and every one of them going forward. So now I'd like to introduce the first member of this team. To kick it off is Emily Amundsen, the next Secretary of the Department of Children and Families. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for your introduction, and thank you to both Governor-elect Evers and Lieutenant Governor-elect Barnes for the trust that you've placed in me. Governor-elect,
yes.
We've worked together for over a decade, and in that time I've been lucky to learn from you, a leader whose North Star is guided by collaboration, common ground, and connection making. Your cabinet is shaping up to be fertile ground for this kind of leadership, and I could not be more excited to serve. As I begin alongside the excellent staff at DCF, I'm grateful to my spouse, Aaron, an elementary art teacher, and my 2 school-age children. These 2 littles are my pride and joy, but we could not have done it without our village. My parents and mother-in-law, who have provided so much support in the form of pickups, drop-offs, after-school care, and above all, love. Our village, it also includes the Early Childhood Education Center, where my kids spent the better part of the last 5 years. There, they were supported and loved by a network of early childhood professionals whose value to my family is absolutely unmeasured. DCF will continue to support a talented pool of early childhood professionals and elevate this critical profession, guided by the Early Childhood Advisory Council recommendations. Without our village, I'm not sure how we could have gotten through the past 6 years as working parents. For others with challenges or hurdles far greater than ours, this village is even more critical. Villages, they become like families, and at DCF, we'll ensure the definition of family reflects, whenever possible, the village each of us uses to balance our lives, our needs, and our personal growth. Each of our villages may look a little different, and at DCF, we'll continue to innovate, create, and prioritize programs and opportunities that help families in both short and long-term ways. I'll also bring to DCF my nearly 20 years of experience working on behalf of kids, first as a high school teacher, then as an employee at DPI. In those experiences, I've watched with great respect as you, Governor-elect Evers, and DCF Secretary Eloise Anderson work diligently to find places where you could collaborate. I look forward to strengthening that collaboration with DPI as well as with the other cabinet agencies. Wisconsin legislators are also critical collaborators to advance and prioritize solutions for families. I'm proud of Wisconsin's nation-leading work with opiate addiction and trauma-informed care. Housing stability, after-school care, human trafficking, and youth justice reform are other areas ripe for continued collaboration with legislators and cabinet agencies alike. Above all, I'm honored to work for a leader whose core belief is one that I deeply share. What's best for our kids is what's best for our state. Thank you. And please join me in welcoming Representative Peter Barca.
Well, thank you very much, Governor-elect Evers and Lieutenant Governor-elect Mandela Barnes. It's a distinct honor and a pleasure to be here today. I'm very thrilled about being a cabinet secretary to head the Department of Revenue in this very dynamic administration. I met so many of our teammates here, and I'm so thrilled about joining them all. I'm thrilled for the opportunity to oversee this critical state agency, which oversees so many facets of state government. My priorities as a legislator have always been to economic development, helping to stimulate family-supporting jobs, expand the middle class, and assist small business growth. And the State Revenue Department plays a critical role in all these aspects, and I believe we can help attain these goals in this department. I was very pleased to be part of the Clinton administration, heading the Midwest for the Small Business Administration and later the National Regulatory Fairness Commission. But I'm even more excited being back in my home state of Wisconsin to be able to impact policies that affect each and every citizen across our great state. And for me, the idea of being able to work for the issues that have been so important in this state for so long, to bring home the values that I know that Governor-elect Evers stands for. I was so thrilled with the platform that he put forward, not the least of which is trying to provide tax relief to the middle class, but also to try to provide greater customer service to all people. In the Regulatory Fairness Commission, we try to make it easier for small businesses to comply with regulations. We'll try to do the same thing here to help all Wisconsin organizations to be able to comply and all taxpayers. So I look forward to having a customer-friendly approach to try to ensure that we're doing all we can to represent the values of this great administration. And I'm just so pleased and thankful to Governor-elect Evers and Lieutenant Governor-elect Mandela Barnes. So with that, it's my great pleasure to introduce our next Secretary of Safety and Professional Services, Dawn Krim.
Wow. I am honored and excited to be selected by Governor-elect Evers to serve the citizens of Wisconsin as the Secretary for the Department of Safety and Professional Services. I could not have imagined 18 months ago when I joined then Superintendent Evers at DPI that he would not only run for governor, but become governor. And then, in turn, asked me to go from working on behalf of the students and educators across the state to join him in working alongside 220 plus professions licensed by the state of Wisconsin, from accountants to cosmetologists to real estate brokers to welders. I look forward to helping the governor-elect connect the dots, working alongside other secretaries to see how we might work together to focus on the issues that he ran on: education, transportation, and healthcare, and strengthen government and industries to help Wisconsinites thrive. The Department of Safety and Professional Services mission is to promote economic growth and stability while protecting the citizens of Wisconsin. I look forward to carrying out that mission and ensuring the safe and competent practice of licensed professionals by valuing the skills that Wisconsinites bring to those professions and across the state. I want them to know that we see you and we value you. Much like the work I did at UW-Madison on behalf of the Labor Licensing Committee, ensuring that the clothing that had the university logo were made in the best possible conditions all around the world, we valued the workmanship of those workers. That work took me to the Dominican Republic, Vietnam, San Salvador, and other places to meet the workers and see the conditions that they're working under, to let them know that the university cared about their workmanship and valued the work that they were giving us at the university. And so in those visits, I look forward to having visits around the state of Wisconsin to also show those workers that the governor-elect and the other secretaries and I see you and we value you. Who would have known 23 years ago when I moved from Pennsylvania to Wisconsin to become an assistant women's basketball coach at UW that I would someday be standing next to the governor-elect and moving into his cabinet? So I'd like to thank the university for that opportunity. I worked in positions all across campus, especially in the chancellor's office under Lamar Billups, who was an incredible state employee for Wisconsin, as well as working with Edgewood College as a board of trustee member on their building and grounds committee, and then of course working at DPI, who gave me my true entry into state government. And the exemplary way that they've done their work, they've shown me how state employees do their work. So I'm looking forward to doing the work alongside other state employees, because at DPI we were grounded in equity, and I will be taking that message to the Department of Professional Services and Safety. And with that, I thank my husband for his support over the years, my kids for allowing me to do what I need to do to support them and you, as well as my parents. And so with that, I look forward to serving. And let me welcome my colleague, Caleb Frostman.
I just want to start by saying I'm deeply grateful to both the governor-elect and the lieutenant governor-elect, and I'm honored and humbled by this incredible opportunity to be part of a team whose collective goal is to improve the quality of life for all Wisconsinites. And standing here today, I'm really proud that I have roots across the state of Wisconsin. I was born in Stevens Point, grew up in Green Bay, went to college here in Madison. I started my professional career in Milwaukee, and I currently call Sturgeon Bay home. And I counted, I won't listen, but I counted, I have occupied deer stands in at least 14 counties in the state of Wisconsin. So I believe spending so much time in this state, in environments both urban and rural, has given me a valuable perspective as an economic and workforce development professional on the state of Wisconsin's economy, and that's motivated me to deliver those quality of life gains that Wisconsinites are hungry for, both in Waukesha and in Washburn, in Algoma and Beloit, and in Madison and Niagara. And having worked in both those fields, economic development and workforce development, I really feel that with the help of smart legislation that we can find those gains. And I love the daily challenge of working with all community stakeholders to strategically invest our limited resources of time, value, and money, working with elected officials, educators, students, entrepreneurs, business owners, to create the greatest return for our community. And specifically with workforce development, I really look forward to the challenge of harnessing the power of DWD to increase the capacity of all Wisconsinites to enter the workforce, to stay in the workforce, and just as importantly, advance within it. And as we work to position Wisconsin to excel in this economy of the future, I think it's pretty obvious that winning the war on talent, or the war for talent, not on talent, war for talent, will be a determining factor. And I believe that with the right priorities, with strong execution, and the diverse perspectives brought forward by this administrative team, Wisconsin can and will be victorious. So I'm honored and excited to be part of that team, and I share the governor-elect's vision of a prosperous Wisconsin for all. And I look forward to putting our collective shoulder to the wheel to ensure that Wisconsin's economy works for its employers and its employees through smart programming, strategic investments in our workforce, and connecting those dots from all angles to deliver a decided economic advantage for Wisconsin now and far into the next decade and beyond. So I'm excited to get to work, and with that, I'm excited also to introduce our new Secretary of Health Services, Andrea Palm.
Good morning. I'm proud to be here today among so many talented individuals who are committed to working with Governor-elect Evers and Lieutenant Governor-elect Barnes to make Wisconsin work better for the people of this state. I want to start by thanking Governor-elect Evers. I am humbled and honored to be your choice to lead the Department of Health Services. Your vision to improve access to health care coverage, address rising costs, and invest in prevention and wellness are critical priorities that Wisconsinites expect us to tackle and to solve. I look forward to working with you, my administration colleagues, and the legislature to find common ground for better health care for Wisconsinites. It will be critical that we listen to Wisconsin families and stakeholders as we develop these plans, and I am anxious to get out and around the state to do just that. These are issues that touch all of us. We all have family members, friends, and colleagues who have pre-existing conditions, who have difficulty affording their prescriptions, or who live in rural areas that lack a dentist or an OBGYN or essential behavioral health treatment programs. These are among the most pressing issues that Wisconsin families face, and they hit closest to home. But they are also issues that are fundamental to the success of each of our communities and the state as a whole. Healthy children come to school ready to learn and to thrive. Healthy adults make for a more productive workforce and more successful farms and businesses. And healthy adults make for healthier seniors, who in turn are able to remain in their homes and communities and sustain the quality of life they expect and deserve. I'm excited to get to work. I look forward to working with the people of Wisconsin, the legislature, and stakeholders to improve the health and well-being of this state's citizens. And as I begin this task, I look forward to working with the dedicated professionals at the Department of Health Services. Their expertise and experience will be critical to our success. Again, thank you, Governor-elect Evers, for this honor.
Thank you. Thank you. And all of them mentioned being humbled. I am humbled to have them join our cabinet. I think they're extraordinarily talented people. They're going to be able to connect the dots. And most importantly, they'll be able to serve the people of Wisconsin in a fashion that befits the people of Wisconsin. That's high quality, lots of talent. So with that, I'll be glad to answer any questions anybody may have. Yes, sir.
The Secretary of DHS mentioned pre-existing conditions. There's a bill circulating now that would provide state protection, does not have a gap on annual or lifetime expenses. Right. Are you looking for something like that to come from the state legislature to provide those protections at state level?
Well, our focus has to be at the federal level right now. Even though the law has been overturned, it's clear that it's going to wind its way through the federal judicial process going forward. And so having those protections at the federal level are critical, because state law prohibits regulation in this arena of self-funded insurance plans, which clearly represent a lot of people in the state of Wisconsin, whether it's in school districts and other municipalities or large corporations. So I think our focus has to be there, and I'm glad that people are caring about that in the legislature, because the people of Wisconsin care about it a lot. Governor Walker and I talked about that a lot during the campaign, and so I'm looking forward to what solutions that the legislature has. But regardless of the intent, the fact of the matter is any state law needs to find a way to mimic and be identical to the federal law. Another question?
Governor-elect, are there any provisions of the lame duck legislation that you intend to not follow?
No, the legislation that passed in the lame duck session I found to be problematic from all sorts of areas, not only for myself but for the Attorney General. I personally have reviewed them, and we've reviewed them with attorneys and other legal staff. We haven't decided what to do personally. It's just been my experience that when this happens, it likely will happen from the outside. I don't know if that's the case. We already have one outside organization challenging parts of the law. We anticipate that happening going forward. And if that does, it's very likely that I will be the person that is sued, because I will be governor at that point in time. It has nothing to do with me not following the law. The fact is, as I found during when I was state superintendent, I was sued because people thought the law was unconstitutional. It wasn't about whether I was implementing or not. I was implementing it as state superintendent because it was a law. My comment is this: it's likely that most of the activity is going to happen from the outside, and I will likely be the defendant of those lawsuits.
When you talk about being named as a defendant, you anticipate in that context being named as a defendant by people who are seeking to overturn the laws, challenging.
Exactly.
That type of litigation.
Thanks you for clarifying that. Exactly.
We have time for two more.
Over the DPI situation. There were two lawsuits over rules when you were at DPI.
Right.
One brought by people supporting you, and now most recently by people opposing you.
Right.
Are you saying that you're going to do everything that's in the lame duck legislation, or are there some things?
I have no intent of breaking the law.
Lamar?
Assembly Speaker Robin Voss sent you a letter to meet the day after your inauguration to meet with his caucus. Is that something you're open to?
Well, I'm certainly open to meeting with Speaker Voss and the caucus. Whether it works out the next day, I'm not sure. Scheduling is always an issue, but I appreciate the outreach, and we'll be meeting with them as soon as we can. That's it. Thank you very much, folks. Thanks for being here. Thank you all.